Hello everyone and welcome to our yet another discussion on the cost of capital. Today I bring you a discussion on the cost of preference shares, a very yet another interesting discussion here, and that forms our lecture number 5. So you should be having cost of preference shares on your screens right now. And of course, in this lecture, we are going to cover a number of things, and therefore, in our lecture overview, we are going to, of course, talk about preference shares in general. We shall give a key term there. We shall talk about the concept of the cost of preference shares, and then we shall look at how to determine the cost of preference shares. We shall make use of an exam type question to understand that. And of course, that is an abbreviation there, which you're going to find in other reading materials or in other reference textbooks. You find the cost of preference shares abbreviated as such. And then we shall wind up our discussion with other considerations you need to make in the determination of the cost of preference shares. So before we move into, of course, the lecture, I just want you to know that we have a variety of online lectures, and you can access all these online lectures where we explain all the principles in finance and accounting, in auditing, in taxation, especially for those that are following the professional stream like SCC and CPA. You'll be able to find a variety of these lectures. So you can, of course, go to our website, www.harvestuganda.com, or send us a WhatsApp on that number on your screen right now. And of course, you'll be able to have access to these online lectures. So moving into the slide, we are asking ourselves, what are preference shares? What are preference shares? So we're saying that preference shares are shares that have a fixed percentage dividend before any dividend is paid to the ordinary shareholders. So this is a category of shares or equity where the holders are entitled to a fixed dividend, which is supposed to be paid before the dividend on ordinary shares is paid. So these are our preference shares here. And of course, we want to understand what is the concept of the preference shares. So in the slide, we are asking ourselves, what is the cost of preference shares? What is the cost of preference shares? So we are saying the cost of preference shares is the rate of return that the enterprise must pay to satisfy the preference share holders. It is the rate of return that the enterprise must pay to satisfy the preference shareholders. So, of course, we have looked in general terms the definition of the cost of capital, and we mentioned that the cost of capital is that minimum rate that must be paid by the enterprise to satisfy the providers of funds. So in this case, the providers of funds are the preference shareholders. So the cost of preference shareholders is that rate that is supposed to be paid by your enterprise to satisfy the providers of preference share capital. So we continue in the bullet, the second bullet, by saying that basing on the foregoing definition, therefore the cost of preference shares is thus the fixed dividend which is committed by the enterprise and is paid by our enterprise, or the company for that matter. So we are saying because of the definition we have given, the rate of return that is paid to the preference shareholders is actually that fixed dividend that is always committed and paid by the company. So that's going to be your cost of preference shares. So now we want to understand how can we estimate the cost of preference shares. Okay, so we are saying that from the financial management theory, the cost of preference shares can be determined using the following formula. The cost of preference shares can be determined using the following formula. So as I have given in the introduction in the lecture overview, that is how we abbreviate the cost of preference shares. So we are saying that the cost of preference shares is equal to that fixed dividend divided by the market value of the preference shares. So we are defining the parameters of the formula, and we are saying where the KPREF, the K preference shares, or the cost of preference shares, this one here is the cost of the preference share capital, and then in the formula we can see the D, and that D we are saying is the dividend that is received or receivable by the preference shareholders, and then the PO is the current market price, okay, is the current market price of the preference shares, and of course we are saying after the payment of the current dividend. So this is very, very important. The PO that we have here in our formula represents the current market price of the preferred shares after payment of the current dividend. Okay, after payment of the current dividend. So you can see that the preference share market price here, we are considering the ex dividend. Okay, we are considering the ex dividend current market price of our preference shares. So this is our nice formula that we shall use when we are determining or estimating the cost of preference shares. So how do we determine the cost of preference shares? Therefore, how do we determine? So we are going to review this activity question, activity 5. Of course, we have already covered activity 1, 2, 3, and 4. So here we bring in activity number 5, in which we are having our company Sanitizer PLC, which has in issue 100 million 10% preference shares of 1,000 each. The preference shares have a market value of 1,250 each, and a dividend has recently been paid. So it means that the market value given to us here, the 1,250, is the ex-dividend preference share current market price. Okay, ex-dividend preference share current market price. And of course, the fixed dividend, as you can see, the dividend has been fixed at 10%, and of course the 10% is calculated on the nominal value of the preference shares, which is given here as 1,000 shillings each. So of course we are required by the examiner to compute the cost of Sanitizer PLC preference share capital. We are required to compute the cost of the company's preference shares. So of course, as we have been doing before in the previous lectures, I want you to go to your accounts. Remember, you can access all a variety of materials. Just go to your account and then download the next lecture, which handles the computation of the cost of preference shares. That lecture is going to present a detailed discussion on the solution to activity 5 that we have here on our screens. So just go to your account, if you have not yet obtained an account and just getting this from the YouTube channel, just go to our account www.harvestuganda.com. Just go to our online lecture platform, okay, and then create your own student account so that you can be able to access a variety of free resources and videos and lectures. So we proceed to look at the other important considerations you need to make in the computation of the cost of preference shares. On the slide, we are saying the formula we have just discussed. The formula we have just discussed is for perpetuity. Okay, it's a perpetuity formula and cannot be used therefore for redeemable preference shares. So the formula we have just discussed is for determining the cost of irredeemable preference shares. Okay, irredeemable preference shares share capital, and thus it's not applicable for the case of redeemable preference share capital. So of course, in our activity number 6, the one that follows this activity, we look at how to determine the cost of redeemable preference shares. And of course, you may all know that preference shares have different classes. We have redeemable preference shares, we have irredeemable preference shares, and other classes of preference shares. But of course, for the computation of the cost of preference shares, the aspect of the preference shares being redeemable and irredeemable is very, very important, and it will affect the cost of your preference shares. So we are saying that the formula we have just discussed right now will not work for redeemable preference shares. So what do we do in that case? Here we are saying that while calculating the cost of redeemable preference shares, the preference shares are treated as redeemable debt using the internal rate of return formula. So you will treat the redeemable preference shares as a redeemable debt, and then you will move ahead to use the internal rate of return formula to determine the cost of redeemable preference shares. So for those who may not be versed with the determination of the cost of redeemable debt, just go again to our lecture platform, pick up the lecture that handles the computation of the cost of redeemable debt. You'll be in position to see how we treat the cost of redeemable debt for that matter. But of course, as I've mentioned, we shall still see this in our revision question where we handle the determination of the cost of redeemable preference shares. Okay, the second aspect here you need to consider is the effect of taxation. And here we are saying that don't forget that tax relief is not given for preference share dividends. In most tax jurisdictions, the dividend that the enterprise will pay on the preference shares is not a deductible expenditure, or is not an allowable deduction for tax purposes. So there is that effect that is going to come in, and therefore we are saying that do not please treat these dividends for tax purposes. Do not treat these dividends for tax purposes, okay? And then number 3, we are saying in the computation of the weighted average cost of capital, that materials, you see this abbreviated as the WACC. In the computation of the weighted, when calculating the weighted average cost of capital, we are saying that the cost of preference shares is going to be a separate component and should not be combined with the cost of debt or the cost of equity. In most cases, people treat cost of preference shares as equity, so making some errors there in while calculating the cost or the weighted average cost of capital. And in other cases, the preference shares, because in some cases they behave like debt securities. For example, when you look at redeemable preference shares, they behave like debt, okay, as we have seen in the previous slide. Redeemable preference shares tend to behave like debt, okay. So in most cases, people combine redeemable preference shares with debt, which is something that is totally wrong here. So we are saying when you're calculating the weighted average cost of capital, the cost of preference shares should be a separate component and should not be combined with the cost of debt or cost of equity. So I want you to now move to activity 5, which is where we are going to determine the cost of preference shares. And of course, simply go to our website, www.harvesttogether.com, or send us a WhatsApp on those numbers there. We shall be able to respond and connect you straight away. You don't need to miss any of these concepts. We have all these in full, so that you are able to pass excellently your professional examinations, okay?